Hi everyone, thanks for checking out this video. So this is going to be a pretty quick lesson, I think, just showing you guys one possible next step you might want to do at this point in the analysis. So if you guys remember from the last video, we basically left off with our list of differentially expressed genes that we got by applying some thresholds to our corrected p-values and our log2 fold changes, which are like a measure of effect size. And so yeah, we ended up with 79 differentially expressed genes. Yeah, it's pretty small number, less than 1%, because I made the thresholds pretty strict, probably stricter than I would in real life. And yeah, so one thing we can do next, if you guys want to, is just go ahead and print out some of these genes and take a look at them. So if we run this block of code and print out the ones that have a log2 fold change greater than 0, this will print out the 65 upregulated genes, meaning the ones that had higher expression in the IPF condition compared to the control. So yeah, we can go ahead and print those out, just like take a look at this list if we want to. And if we want to see the down-regulated genes, we could just make this less than 0 and go ahead and print out the 14 down-regulated genes. But yeah, I'll switch this back to the upregulated. And then besides that, I have another block of code here that basically just writes these lists of like upregulated and downregulated genes to CSV output files, so that then you can just have them saved and then maybe like send them over to your collaborators who you're working with, or yeah, I mean, it really depends on like what the scope of the analysis is that you're doing. In some real life projects I've done, the goal is just to like come up with these lists of like upregulated and downregulated differentially expressed genes. And then from there, the goal is then to just like email them over to the biologist you're working with. And then at that point, your part in the analysis might actually be over. And then they'll take it from there in terms of like biological interpretation of these results. So that might be all you need to do, depending on like the scope of your project and what your goal is. But it might also be the case that you want to look into these genes yourself and see if there's anything interesting about them, like biologically speaking. And if you do want to do that, a good tool to use is Enrichr, and I put a link to it over here in the notebook. Yeah, this Enrichr web application. So yeah, this is basically a web application that you can use where you can like copy and paste in a list of genes. So yeah, I'll go ahead and copy and paste in this list of like upregulated differentially expressed genes. So you can go ahead and paste that into this box. And then if you go down and click submit, it will do this what's called like enrichment or like overrepresentation analysis, where it'll basically like give you a bunch of like terms in all these different like gene sets, they're called basically. It'll give you terms that were found to have they were basically found to be what's called like enriched for this list of genes, meaning that genes from this list showed up more than would be expected, like by random chance, for some of these terms basically. And yeah, depending on like how much biology background you have, you could possibly take a look through these terms and see if anything about them is like interesting. And you have to watch out for possible like false positives. Like for example, one of these is like pancreatic cancer. Whoops. Yeah, like pancreatic cancer. But we know that the data set like didn't have anything to do with pancreatic cancer, so that might just be a coincidence. Like some of the genes might happen to also be involved in pancreatic cancer, or something like that. But yeah, like you do have to watch out for false positives here, because it might be giving you a lot of terms that that are just not actually relevant. But this one here, like collagen degradation, that one seems like it might plausibly have something to do with like fibrosis of lung tissue. This one also, like extracellular matrix degradation. See, this one says like in skin, and we know that the data set didn't have anything to do with skin, but this general topic, extracellular matrix degradation. That also seems like something that might plausibly be related to idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. And again, none of these are like a confirmation that these biological like terms or topics are like definitely related to it. This whole analysis we're doing here with Enrichr is more about like hypothesis generation than hypothesis testing. So yeah, it's more about like looking at these terms to like brainstorm possible like biological hypotheses that we might want to look further into. Yeah, we can check out some of these other categories too, like ontologies. Again, extracellular matrix organization. This is another thing that seems plausibly related to the IPF disease. Yeah, some of these other ones possibly just like false positives. Again, extracellular matrix. Yeah, again, collagen containing extracellular matrix. Again, I'm not like a lung biology expert, so I don't know for sure if any of these things like collagen or the extracellular matrix, if they were like definitely related to IPF. But to me, they seem like they could plausibly be related, or they might be interesting to look into as like a biological hypothesis related to IPF. Yeah, we can look at diseases too. Yeah, again, like false positives here with like prostate. Oh yeah, like down here it actually names the disease, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Yeah, it actually caught it down here. So yeah, I mean, again, like none of these things are like sure things. And again, this is really about like hypothesis generation rather than hypothesis testing. Something else you can do these days, and again, you need to be careful with this because there totally is the possibility for like false positives. But yeah, you can give it to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT what it thinks of this list. And again, I'm giving the big disclaimer here that you do have to be cautious about this because ChatGPT will hallucinate sometimes and will give you like bad information. So again, this is not, whatever ChatGPT tells you should not be taken as like definitive proof of anything. It should be taken more as like the starting point of like possibly brainstorming a new hypothesis that will eventually be tested basically. So yeah, again, it's not about hypothesis testing, it's more about hypothesis generation. But yeah, we can give ChatGPT this list and just say like, can you tell me about this list of genes? Do they have anything interesting in common? And then yeah, go ahead and copy and paste in this list of upregulated genes, and then we can just see what ChatGPT thinks about it. Yeah, again, ECM and remodeling. Again, I'm not like an expert on IPF like physiology, but this seems like something that could be related to IPF. Inflammatory and stress response also possibly. Yeah, again, I'm like not an expert, but yeah, like ECM fibrosis. That seems like it could be like plausibly related to IPF. Oh yeah, here it actually identified the disease. But yeah, this other one too, like lung cancer, like even though we know that this was not a lung cancer data set, it is possible that like lung cancer might have some like physiological similarity in terms of like what genes are upregulated compared to like IPF. But yeah, down here too, yeah, it did actually like identify like the IPF disease. So yeah, again, I wouldn't take any of this as being like definitive proof of anything, especially because we know that ChatGPT can hallucinate sometimes. But yeah, this might be just a way to like get like a broad overview of these results and come up with some like ideas for like possible hypotheses that will eventually need to be tested in some like future experiment, basically. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys for this video. In the next video, we're going to work on visualizing these results with the plot we're going to make. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.